having a roof over our head, having sufficient nice clothing. These are all blessings from Allah that normally we take for granted. So anyways, he knocked on several people's doors. Started in the morning, and by the afternoon he was exhausted, he was tired. And someone would give him $1, someone would give him $2, someone would give him 50 cents. And likewise, he would slowly try to save up so that he can go to school. One particular house, he knocked on the door, and an elderly woman, she opened the door, and he asked them the same question that he's asking everybody: can I have some money so that I can go to school? So the elderly woman looked at him, and she said, well, you know what, I don't have any money. And you look very tired, and you look very hungry. What I do have is I have some fresh milk in my fridge, and I can offer you that. So she quickly went inside, she got him a glass of milk, and she came back, she offered it to him, and he was really hungry and he was really tired. And he drank that glass of milk, and she could see while he's drinking the milk that, he's getting some energy. SubhanAllah, again, a glass of milk is something that we may have every morning or 3 times a day, but we take it for granted. And through that glass of milk, he was able to continue on going to other people's houses. He got some energy, he felt refreshed. And he went to other people's houses and he knocked on their doors, and he would do this every single day. Many years went by. And this Ahmed, this young boy, he wasn't Ahmed anymore. He had a title in front of him. He was Dr. Ahmed. He was Dr. Ahmed. And not only did he just become a doctor, but he was a specialist. And he was so good in the field that he was amongst the rare doctors in the country. And he treated many patients. He treated many patients throughout his life. And that was his purpose. That it wasn't just to make money, but it was to serve humanity, to serve people. And there were cases, and when there would be situations, there were cases, and where the other doctors and hospitals would not be able to help, and they would give up, they would send the patient to him, or either he would go to the hospital. So one day, there was a situation like that, and where there was a patient who had a very rare disease. And the hospital where this patient was admitted, the hospital gave up. They tried so many different treatments, so many different doctors tried to treat this patient, but they weren't successful. And like I said, when they weren't, then they would call Dr. Ahmed this doctor. Now this patient was so ill that she couldn't recognize anybody around her. Now Dr. Ahmed, he was told that, this patient, we tried this treatment, we tried this many medications, we did this, but none of that worked. When he came to the hospital, and he got all that information, he came to the patient, and he looked at the patient and the records and everything, and then he looked at the name. He realized that, who was this? This was that same woman that many years ago gave him that glass of milk. She was totally out. She didn't know what was happening, where she was, who's treating her, if she's getting treated or not. And Dr. Ahmed, he made it a point to make sure that he spent more time than he normally would do on other patients. And obviously the cure is in the hands of Allah. It's not in the hands of medication or in the hands of doctors. But he tried his best. And alhamdulillah, through the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used that doctor to cure that woman. Now subhanAllah, when she got cured, she got her senses back. She did not know who was the lead doctor. And when everything was done, and they were about to release her from the hospital, they gave her the bill. And again, they lived in a place, an area, and where medical was not covered. We get sick, we can go walk into a walking clinic, you can go to the hospital, you can break your arm. Don't do it, but if you do, you can go to the hospital and they will cure you for the caps. So she received this bill. Now she was in the hospital for a very, very, very long time. So the bill she received was in the thousands of dollars. When she got the bill, when the nurse presented the bill to her, she started to cry. She started to cry. So the nurse said to her that if you feel the bill is too high, maybe we can talk to the hospital and hopefully they may be able to reduce it by some amount. So she said, no, that's not why I'm crying. I'm crying because look at the receipt, look at the bill. The bill was so many thousands of dollars. At the bottom of that bill, it was written by Dr. Ahmed, paid in full by the glass of milk. Paid in full by the glass of milk. So my young friends and my brothers and sisters, the lesson from this story is one, is that we don't know what good deed we may do or what we may do for someone else, and later on, how that may help us later in our future. We don't know, subhanAllah, what did she know that glass of milk was going to be able to do, help her later in her life, save her life because of that. And this is, subhanAllah, what our Prophet ﷺ teaches us. خَيْرُ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَنْفَعُ النَّاسِ. That the best of people are the ones who benefit others, who are beneficial to others. So always try to be a helping hand to others, irrespective of who that person is. Muslim or non-Muslim. If we help someone today, the Prophet ﷺ, he says, this is not my words, these are the words of the Prophet. He says, whoever helps his Muslim brother or sister in the time of need, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help that person in the time of his need. Allah will help you. So, we are not strong. We are also weak. We are also in need of people all the time. But when people are in need of us, that is our opportunity to help. Not just put a blind eye. Don't ignore that person. That is our opportunity of not just getting reward. Allah will reward us. But it's also an opportunity for us that when we are stuck in a corner, when we are stuck and we need help, Allah will help us in that situation. Allah will help us in that situation. So try to be a helping hand. Whether it's with our time, with our efforts, with our knowledge, with our abilities, with our wealth, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Try to help others in whatever capacity that we can, not for that person, do it for the sake of Allah. Because if you do it for that person, then you will never be satisfied. You'll never be happy. Because that person will never be able to repay you. And if they don't do anything good for you, then you're going to go back to that person and say, you know what, I did this for you. You don't want to say that. You don't want to say that, you know what, I did this thing for you, and I bought this for you, I spent this much time for you. Don't do that, because if you do that, your good deed will go down the drain. Your good deed will just go down the drain. Rather, make your intention that you're doing it for who? For the sake of Allah. When you do that, then you don't worry if that person will do something good back to you or not. Because you're doing it for the sake of Allah, you're doing it, then inshallah, if I do this, when I fall into a situation where I'm stuck, Allah will help me. Not that person. Allah will help me. If you do it for that, you will see that inshallah, as many people as you help, you will see the reward of that. Whenever you're stuck, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will set down help for you inshallah as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those people who are beneficial to others. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from amongst those who follow the sunnahs of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Everyone please stand up and fill in the gaps.